The outward appearance of an individual is known as their phenotype. In a Mendelian cross, when there are two parents which have different phenotypes, one of them is dominant over the other. In other words, when they produce offspring, all of the offspring will have the phenotype of one of the parents, while the phenotype of the other parent will be absent, could be completely hidden. So all of the offspring will have the dominant phenotype of one parent. Mendel reasoned that this was because the dominant phenotype was caused by being homozygous dominant in one parent, having two copies of the dominant allele, while the recessive phenotype in the second parent was caused by being homozygous recessive, having two copies of the recessive allele. Each of the offspring then gets a dominant allele from one parent, a recessive allele from the other parent, and therefore they are heterozygous. When two individuals of the F1 generation are crossed, they will produce the F2 generation. Both of these parents had the dominant phenotype, but there will be a 3:1 phenotype ratio in the F2 generation, where 3/4 of the offspring on average will have the dominant phenotype, but 1/4 will have the recessive phenotype, which will seemingly have skipped a generation from the P generation to the F2. Each of the F1 parents contributes an allele to the F2 individuals. As a result, there is a 1/4 probability that a child will get two dominant alleles, one from each parent, and be homozygous dominant. Half the children will receive a dominant allele from one parent and a recessive allele from the second parent. They will be heterozygous. And 1/4 of the children will receive a recessive allele from each parent and be homozygous recessive. This then is known as a Mendelian cross or Mendelian inheritance. In the case where one allele is dominant, one allele is recessive, and when a homozygous dominant individual is crossed with a homozygous recessive individual, the F1 children are heterozygous and show the dominant phenotype. And when two heterozygotes with the dominant phenotype are crossed to make the F2 generation, there is a 3:1 ratio in the phenotype, 3/4 dominant, 1/4 recessive, and there is a 1:2:1 ratio in the genotypes of the F2. 1/4 is homozygous dominant, half are heterozygous, 1/4 is homozygous recessive.